Hey cellos, this is going to be a quick how to practice video for the first 10 measures of Summer Stomp. I'm going to kind of walk through all of the major tricky things so that you know how to practice them, and then at the end I'll play the whole thing so you know what it sounds like. Don't forget there's also practice tracks available on YouTube through the distance learning folder. So those tracks have the music on screen with the note names written in, and you can see it playing as you hear it being played for you. And they're great to play along with. If you feel like the speed is too fast for you to keep up with, don't forget that you can use the video settings in YouTube and you can actually slow it down so that you can still keep with the music. You can make sure your rhythm is good, your intonation is good, but you don't feel overwhelmed by the speed. All right, so starting with Summer Stomp, we're going to do the first 10 measures, which are from the beginning until this measure right before B. And I actually pick Summer Stomp specifically for cellos. And I know you're like, this song is kind of boring. It's the same thing over and over again. But I really need my cellos to get super good at forward extensions. And this song is kind of a workout for your left hand and forward extensions. So anytime you see this C sharp on the G string, whether it's marked with a sharp or it's just totally blank, because remember we have C sharp in the key signature, you have to play extended 4. And that extension is not just stretching your fourth finger out. That extension comes from your second finger. So we take our second finger, stretch it out to where our third finger tape goes, and then when we put our fourth finger down, it's already on C sharp. So remember the hand shape changes for this. Here's what we look like normally. Our third finger's on B, our fourth finger's on C natural. I'm going to keep my first finger where it is, drop everything else down, and now my 2 should be on my third finger tape, and then my 4 will be on C sharp. Don't forget, don't use third finger. If you're extending, your third finger is now where C natural would be. It should actually be on your fourth finger tape. So we want to use 1, 2, and 4. Things to watch out for. Your thumb, I hope you can see it in the video. Everything, including your thumb and your 2, 3, and 4, drop down together. So your thumb is normally here, and it's going to go lower down on the cello for the extension. Also, beware of the claw. So we've talked about this in class before. When people try to forward extend, instead of keeping this nice first finger shape where it's a little bit straighter, they tend to claw up their first finger and try to push their fingers down the string, and it does not work out great. The stretch is really hard to do. So that pointer finger should go kind of straight. You should be playing more on the side of it. You can also release that finger, pick it up off the string when you go to play your 2 if you're having a hard time holding the stretch. Before you even try to play this song, I would test to make sure you can get that extension in tune. And I would either do this while playing with me or playing with a recording, or get out your ins tuner and check your notes. First finger should be on A. Then we drop down and our second finger's on B. And then our fourth finger's on C sharp. And if you play those notes backwards, it should sound like Hot Cross Buns or Mary Had a Little Lamb. If it doesn't sound like that, then you're probably not stretching correctly. So make sure you work on that technique. Then I would see how fast can you play 1, 2, 4, because you have to do it in eighth notes in the song. Do that over and over again until you can play it pretty quickly. You'll notice in the song there's also something kind of tricky. We have to get from open A to first finger A. So that's another thing I would practice before playing, is just can I go from my open to my first finger real quick. If you can do that really fast, then add 1 note to it. So I'll add the B next. And make sure I'm getting my second finger down. That takes some coordination. We gotta drop that finger. And then if you can do that, add your fourth finger. So in your recordings, I'm really going to be listening for this to be in tune, because this is the most important part and the whole reason why I pick Summer Stomp. If you can get those 4 eighth notes, add the 2 quarter notes that come before it. In measure 2, it's open A. Making sure we're playing quarter notes, then eighth notes, so nice and long. And then in the rest of the measures, like right here and right here and right here, it's G instead of A. So this is the other tricky thing, other than having to play extensions and jumping strings. we're going to play, when we play on the D string, we're going to play with a regular hand pattern. So I'm not extended for G. If I keep extending, I'm going to be playing G sharp instead, and it's going to sound really weird. So can we go from regular fourth finger, then extend? So being able to get from here to extended pattern after you play an open A, a little tricky. Make sure you practice it nice and slow. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of the tricky things in here, other than, remember, we have accents right here. So to get a good accent sound, this is kind of like final touches, so don't worry about the accents first. Just make sure you get your intonation down in your fingerings. But if you want to add those accents in, grab with your pointer finger and then release so we get a good pop on each note. I know you can't see my hand when I'm playing, but we should have a good aggressive attack on each note. And then even here. So you only have a few notes that are accented, but if you can add them in, please do. All right, I'm going to play the whole thing for you, and just so you get a good sense of what it sounds like, and let's see how it goes. Hopefully I can get my extensions in tune because it's tricky for me. Okay, here we go from the beginning. Ready, set, go. Rest, rest. That's as far as you have to go for this week, so just be really careful about this extension. It's the thing that I care the most about. Making sure that we switch to regular hand position. We play our F sharp with third finger and our G with fourth finger. You could technically still do this in extended position and play this with extended 2, making sure that you play your G with 3. I'll leave that up to you, but get this in tune. This is the thing I care the most about. All right, keep practicing. Make sure you go slow and then speed it up, and good luck.